Hey, Sagarsil, Tula Lazatat. Naji, don Sharbezat Nezach. Tula Naji, Chiza, when I say it, Rundisa, Tula Signa Hapse, Shamoderni, when Rataji, ni la habitual, near Solokon R. Chirunaji, Solon collection Diop, Tula, I said in Sharni, when or Niguknai, Nila Conchero Radi, say Naji. Hi, good morning. So here we are again. We're gonna start learning more words, and also we learn about the habitual, and now we're gonna learn about the perfective, something that happened yesterday, for instance. So we're gonna start with the second lesson, or lección tío. And again, as usual, I'm gonna share my PDF file with you guys so that you know and you can follow this lesson here. Here we go. So as I said, we're going to start lección shop. I'm sorry, that's lesson 6. I think I said 2, but it's actually lesson 6, lección shop. So in this lesson, we're going to learn about perfective verbs, and also we're going to learn other concepts such as stems and bases of the verb, and then you're going to learn about the present imperative, like which is a command, so you'll be able to command somebody. And let's see, you guys are going to learn about progressive verbs, so I think it's going to be fun. I hope so. All right, something, and as usual, you know, you guys should be able to by now to go over the Radish on tagging dictionary. These are the words, or probably I should very quickly say them, and then you guys can go back and listen to them on the Talking Dictionary San Lucas Chiavini. Okay, so I'm gonna go quickly over these words, and some of them you should be familiar. You should be familiar with. Okay, you probably already saw them. So we're gonna start with the first one, which is as. Next, asnia. Bdosh. Bulls. Shad. Kampan. Kun. Cha. Disa. Distil. Gatterstil. Ingles. Wine. Leip. De Petter. Manzan. Na. Nai. Puert. Rataji. Verb. Rbish. Rnab. Rnalas. Rnit. Rsan. Rseid. Rtas. Rshel. Rulas. Rgel. Okay, so remember that the previous lesson that we did, we learned about habituals. So these are verbs in the habitual form, because today, as I said, we're gonna, at least this lesson, we're gonna be learning about the perfective, or the past. Okay, so just pay attention to the R's and the verbs. So we have several verbs here, and then we'll continue. They. We. Romrer. Jet. Something really interesting about Zapotec, and not just with Zapotec, but there's some other Mesoamerican languages that what you see, I think, here on, for instance, on the Getashtil and the Stil, you have the Til and Stil. So right here, if you read this little section, it just tells you that the Stil or til, it's a word ending, the word ending derived from the word borrowed from Spanish Castilla, you know, as part of Spain when the Spaniards arrived, and now was the Americas. So in many languages, what they do is that they'll add this stil or til to objects or things that came from Spain. It didn't exist in in the Americas, right? So, for instance, get the Stil, and we have the Stil right here with Castile. Remember, or maybe if you can remember, or I'm telling you that get, it means tortilla. So I guess when the Spaniards introduce bread to Mesoamerica, that they figure it's like they're something that you eat, and it looks like a tortilla, I guess. So they call it Catastil, which is bread nowadays, but it literally means bread from Castile. And also here, the stil, this is language or word, and Til is from Castile, so that's language of Castile, which is Spanish for us in Central Valley, Zapotec. Okay, just something historical that to me it's really, really interesting. But anyways, let's move on. So, and now we're gonna be doing the 6.1 perfective verbs. I'm going to keep reminding you to just remember the basic verb in Zapotec, which is in habitual form, right? We start with be. If you guys remember earlier, we use the R, that which we translated as the child runs, like he does it every day. It's something that you do every. It's something. It's like a habit. That's why we call it habitual. But on this 6.1, the perfective verb. Now you guys are being introduced to the be replacing R. So remember that this is the base run, right? So we only change the prefix as we talked about it in the previous lesson. So to say the child ran, we say brun, niin. Again, we have verb and subject, okay? So let's continue here. So the next sentence, it says, "Vjel puert." So the door opened. Next sentence, the niin, sede jab. All of them bees. Vdoshbak. Sanjab, lieber. All right, so as I just mentioned, that we changed the prefix. So for the habitual is R, and now for the perfective, we are replacing the B for the R. So, and here is our little, is the way that you do that. So it's a habitual, it's with the R and then the base. So this is the prefix, the base, and the translation in English, runs. Again, ran, run. So this is how you build the perfective stem from habitual stem. So, and then, so now we're gonna do, as you guys know by now, that we learn about the focus sentences, focusing typically in an answer to a question. As we just looked at it on the habitual form, now you can also do it on the perfective form. So here, the girl is the focus, left the book behind. So typically would be an answer to a question like, who left the book behind? The girl left the book behind, right? So it is the girl. So again, we have Jap of San Lieber. The focus is on the Jap. And the same with that. Reerdosh. And you guys remember that dere, this dog, it goes after the noun. So you can also use it here. Okay, so if you have a bunch of dogs and say which dog it barks, so it's like this dog bark, not that one. So one more time, remember the it's a very short vowel pronunciation, which is Greek ichek, okay? And then we have mindset, again, we have this and that, and remember that re, it's a longer, if you will, a sound, and it is a vowel Greek vowel. Okay, so the next one is Sanjap. Okay, and now you guys are being introduced to a new vocabulary here, which is yesterday, and it is pronounced nai. So one more time, nai. Okay, so We have a sentence using the yesterday word. So it says the child ran yesterday. Okay, so not the day before yesterday, but yesterday. And the child ran yesterday. And again, this is the focus word sentence. Okay, and then we have the next sentence. What mindset Lilan or what mindset Lilan. Okay, so guys, so please cover this section. There is more information about the adverb and how it is used. So I think that the best way I can, again, I can help you with the learning Zapotec is by going over the sentences, and you should be responsible for reading more about this section. So I'm going to continue going over the sentences here. Those are focus sentences again, focus word sentences. So the next sentence is nai brun nin re nai brun nin re. One more time, nai brun nin re. And as the focus being the child, that child, I can say nin re brun nai, nin re brun nai. All right, so now we have your first homework. So do your homework. It's right here. So tareate selección shop. Okay, so it has two parts. Okay. In the meantime, I'll continue with more sentences here. The next sentence is Juan remembers the teacher. So here we go. So it's the habitual form. Arnalas Juan mess. And then we just talk about how the R turns into B, right? But now, as you guys can see, this is an M for the perfective. Nalas Juan mes. Again, Rnab naget. And for, say, yesterday, like Naib nab naget, it's an nab naget. So as you can see here, this verb, it's an RN verb. Okay, so for these verbs, what we do is that instead of using the B, we use the M and the RN verbs. Okay, so we change the R. So we change the M, instead of the R. Again, you can see that here. So, okay, and sometimes we also use the W with the RBs. Okay, so for the, again, here the RN, it's the, we change the R for an M. And then with the RBs, we change the R for a W. So I guess in Zapotec, we couldn't have two Bs, but who knows? I'm just speculating as to why we do that. But if you have the RB, the R turns into a W. Okay, so just remember that as you're doing your exercises. So, better. Okay, Petra wakes up. Petra woke up, say yesterday. And then for rings the bell, the habitual is Rvish Kampan, the bell rings. And then something that happened in the past, Wish Kampan. Okay, so please keep in mind those changes. So here we go. So the habitual, whenever you have the RB, as I said, you replace the W for talking in the past or in the perfective, okay? So, rataradish every day is an adverb, actually an adverb phrase that can be used in habitual sentences. So for instance, if you want to say something happened every day, right? So you can say ratajir kampan. So just, or ratajir runhuain. Ratajir, something happened. So, and then here it's just the focus sentence, right? So Rish Kampan Ratashi. And then you have your Taretiop, your second homework right here. So I hope you enjoy it. And then I'll just continue going over the sentences here. So we have here, we introduced this in the last lesson, which is your last likes, right? So if you say, you know, your last one better, the person likes better, okay? So your last one better. So it usually is not used in the perfective. So most of us using the habitual, even when we talk in the past. Yeah, who knows? Maybe we like everything. All right, so your derechon, and now if you want to be bossy, you can use these imperatives. So imperative is just the perfective, okay, without, like for example, like run, it's a direct order, right? So if you tell somebody, hey, run, so you say run, okay? But if you're telling somebody to do something, well, I don't know why you would hit a dog, but that's what we have here. You would say das back, okay? So it's an order, it's an imperative. Or, you know, you ask somebody or you tell a child somebody to open the door and you say, Schildpuert. Okay, so the next one is navnes. The leveramnin. So I'm going to go over these words again so you can hear how they are pronounced. So I'm going to say them and then hopefully that you can repeat after me. Okay, so brzun. One more time. Brzun. Tasbek. Tasbek. Next. Schildpuert. Schildpuert. Navnes. Navnes. They lever am niin. They lever am niin. All right. So, okay, so when you're talking to a child or someone of your age or you're familiar with, you can add as, okay, or asnia before the command, okay. By itself, as means hey or hi, and asnia, it means basically the same. So again, I'll pronounce those words for you. The first one is asnia. All right. And now here are some examples of how to use them. As, Schildpuert. One more time. As, Schildpuert. Next. Asnia, de lever am niin. Asnia, de lever am niin. Okay. And then if you want to tell somebody if that person has, you know, has different options and you want to say this door, you know, is the one that you want to be open. So you say, and it's right here. Remember the pronunciation of this and that. So this is the shorter one. Okay, so puertrevshel, puertrevshel. Next sentence. Lillian, date lever. Lillian of date lever. Okay, so give the book to Elena, not to Petra, for example. Okay, so this is the fourth homework or exercise. And then we are looking into indefinite objects, okay? So all the the nouns we've seen so far in the sentence that we've gone over have referred to specific objects, right? Such as a name, or you know, we said something very specific object. We've talked about it. For example, you know, the names like Juan, Peter, or Disha. Okay, so Now we're going to be looking at indefinite objects, such as, I guess, such as water. So if you say Lilen Sudievnes, to refer to an indefinite object, a single item that is not specific or identifiable, you use the word tave, one. So for instance, mnaazamni tave lipe, right? So we don't know which pencil, like whether it's a black pencil or red pencil. The child just grabbed a pencil, any pencil, but he grabbed a pencil. I hope that makes sense. And then, as again in the next sentence, we have Petra gave a book to the teacher, right? It could have been a math book, a Spanish book, but we don't know. What we know about the book, it's just the book, okay? And in Zapotec, we say, de Peter, de lieber mess, okay? And then the next one is Juan asked for an apple. Okay, red apple. So it's just an apple, right? We don't know what kind of apple that was. So you can say de manzana now wine. Okay, so again, I'm gonna go over these sentences, and then I hope that you guys can repeat them, the sentences after me. So the first one, again, going back to these three sentences that I just said, I'm gonna say them again. So here we go. Mnaasmniin tevlep. Mnaasmniin tevlep. Vde tlepeter tevlever mes. Vde tlepeter tevlever mes. Te manzano na wine. Te manzano na wine. All right. And here is your homework. And two more sentences. It's interesting that in Zapotec, we have a word so that it refers to flat things only. Modern Zapotec, I guess, in the colonial periods, they used to use this word more often with other objects, but now it is just with get right here, the cha word. So when we say one, right, we say, but with a tortilla flat objects, we say, but in this case, we use it for the tortilla. Now, lielen chaget, stil. Okay, one more time. Now, lielen chaget, stil. The next one is they did not check it They did not check it. Okay, so remember, we don't use they get, we use check it. Okay, in the perfective, you change the R into a B, or if it is, let's see, RN verbs, the R into M, and I start with, let's see, RB, that's a W, right? So we just remember that how you change the habitual into perfective, and now we're gonna be looking at the progressive verbs, okay? So it's something that is in progress as is happening right now, for example, right? As we see this sentence, that the dog is running. So you see a dog running, you say, hey, kajun back. The dog is running. So it's kajun back. Okay, the next sentence, the cat is waking up the girl. Jet kakwanjab. That's the focus sentence here. Or kana win lever. Like that person is asking right now for a book. And this is how you do it. So this is habitual. The R turns into a CA. So in the habitual form, we say run. In the progressive, kajun. Okay. So again, the R is changing to a CA for the habitual. So let's look at some other sentences here. And if it is being done at this moment, we use the word na. It's a breathy vowel. So again, na. Now, okay? So if you want to say the dog is running now, you say na kajunbak. Again, focus sentence. Kajunbak na. All right. And so here you need to practice your habitual sentences. And there are some, I guess, some irregular verbs, just like in any language you have irregular verbs, and you have your regular verbs. For Zapotec, it's like erdate. It's not kadate, as you would expect it, right? But kandiev, or some people say kaldiev. Either one is perfectly fine. I use them both myself. Sometimes I say kandiev, sometimes I say kaldiev. So I'm not even aware that I'm doing that, but I go back and forth. So as an example that we have here, the water is boiling, kaldievness. Oh, kaldievness. Okay. So here we have more. Under date, erdosh. Okay. So the sentence is Juan is giving the book to the teacher. Kadeit Juan Liebermes. Kadeit Juan Liebermes. The dog is barking. Kadosh. One more time. Kadosh. All right. Okay. So we have verbs that can be used in more than one sentence. So let's see, for example, you say it means something different when it's used with a subject and an object from when it is used with a subject and two objects. Or say it is learns when it's used with a subject and an object. Okay, and I'll give an example in a second. Okay, but when this verb is used with a subject and two objects, it means teaches. So, for example, the first one is Kasi leen Ingles, right? So, Elena is learning English, right? So, right here, say mes liepeta dishtil, right? So, the teacher teaches Petra Spanish, right? One more time, say mes liepeta dishtil. So we have two subjects, which is the one who does the action and the one who receives it. So I hope that it is clear. Whereas here, the first sentence, it's just one subject, so it's learning English right here. Elena is learning English. Okay, we have more. Erdate, which means gives. Peter gave the book to the teacher. Okay, or this one. So say Peter mestisa. Say Peter mestisa. So remember that the one who does the action is follow. It follows immediately the verb. So she's doing the action, right? And what is she doing? She taught Zapotec to the teacher. So it is said, Lepeter mestiza. Okay, here's the next one. Lepeter said mestiza. And remember now, Lepeter is a subject, right? So who's doing the action? It is the teacher who is teaching Zapotec to Lepeter. Okay, and I think that we've seen many sentences like this. This is the focus sentences. Okay, next one. Rnitmul. The money gets lost. And here we have the subject. So kanit mnamul. Who's missing? The woman is missing the money. Okay. So Ranit means get lost when it's used with just one object noun, like this one, like in the first sentence. However, when it is used with two nouns, as in the second sentence, kanitim naamul, this verb means is missing something or has lost something. Okay, so just cover again this explanation we have here, and I hope that would make sense. And I think this is the last section that we have, 6.7, con, which can mean and with. Okay, and also it's there are two ways of spelling it. So con, again, I go back and forth and using this spelling or this spelling. It means both and with, and correspond with the to English. And con is used to join two nouns or names in a sentence. Like this one, we have Jap quanum na mul. So the girl and the woman ask for money. Again, we have another sentence here. Katis, Lelen, con bad. So the two of them are jumping, right? So Elena and Pedro are jumping. And the next sentence, saan buingwi con abtua. Sa buingwi con abtua. Okay, the person left the guava and the banana behind. And the next sentence is the cat and the dog run. So runjet con back. Runjet con back. So if you want to say this in the perfective, you just change the R to V, right? So it would be runjet con back. If you see them running right now, again, you change the R. Instead of the R, you use the CA. Kajunjet con back. All right. Okay, and then again, here we have another example. Katias Elena con bed. So it's Elena's jumping with Pedro. Jet run come back. The cat runs with the dog. All right, so here are the prefixes. So just so you can go back and refer to them if you need to. So the B is for the perfective, the CA is, the progressive verb prefix, and then the cal is for regular verbs, and again, cal or can, and the M is the perfective verb prefixes with the basis beginning with an N, and the W is the perfective verb prefix for basis beginning with a B. So that's it for this lesson, and I hope that you guys keep it up. So until next time, and have a wonderful day.